Sharia law is so good? Why did you leave Afghanistan? Why did you leave Pakistan? Why did you leave Sudan or wherever you came from for you to come to the UK to shout Sharia for UK? If Sharia law is so good, and you're so dumb, you don't realize the reason why your parents, your grandparents, or yourself left your country is because of Sharia law. Name me one country that employs Sharia law that's an advanced country. And you can't use Dubai or Qatar as an excuse because they don't follow Sharia law. I was born and bred in an Islamic country, and the reason why I'm in the UK is because I don't want Sharia law. So if you think Sharia law is good, fuck off back to your country.
Okay, so a few words to my audience so that we can begin with the session. So a warm welcome.
Yes. So I obviously released a video about a week ago that went viral. It's got 4.4 million views on Instagram alone, but there's, it was uploaded on other platforms as well. To be honest with you, I don't know how many views this has got altogether. And
last time when you were mentioning, it was around 60,000, 600k views.
No, but but that was the day after.
One.
Now it's got 4.4 million.
Oh,
and
great. Yeah.
The second video that I uploaded got around 800,000. But you have to remember, it's got like 50,000 on Facebook, another 50,000 on LinkedIn. Many people like Tommy Robinson, people shared my videos on X. So to be honest with you, I don't even know what the total number of views is, but let's say close to 10 million. And this video series was about a protest called, Sharia for UK.
Yeah.
And, as you know, Sharia law is Islamic law. And I believe that religion and politics shouldn't mix together, especially Islamic law. So as I was an ex-Muslim, I was born in Iran. And I saw what Islamic law can do to a country. And how backwards and barbaric it is. And, once upon a time, maybe Sharia law was good. But not now, we should not live our lives based on a, medieval tradition. We should have a secular society.
Okay.
And obviously, when I saw this protest, and obviously I come from an Islamic country, I got very angry because I think in society, no one is challenging Islamic extremism. And the reason for that is that people are scared. Because, Islam always has this threat that, if you speak about Islam or if you speak about Muhammad, then you should be killed or you're an apostate or you're a mufsid or whatever. And I think it's just absolute nonsense. And I think we should not have this coward mentality that we can't speak about Islam. You can be a Muslim and you can pray 5 times a day and you can go to the mosque. You can do whatever you want. That's your own individual liberty and freedom. But then the moment you come out and you say Sharia for UK, that is not a personal issue anymore. It becomes a social and political issue. And that's why we have the right to criticize it.
I have a doubt there. That is, I have seen that video multiple times, and I have seen the posters in which persons like Anjem Chowdhury was present there, and he was also making these kind of slogans. So do you have any idea that from where these people have come to UK, like whether they are the refugees or are they the legal immigrants to that country?
They're a mixture of refugees and immigrants. You can't really tell, but I would say most of them are Pakistani, Afghanistani, Somali and South Sudan. And usually it's the people from third world countries with not real great governments and great societies. Anjem Chowdhury, I think, is from Pakistan, yeah?
Yeah. Pakistan. Chowdhury is usually an Indian name from somewhere near Bangladesh.
Yeah, but you have 300 million people, 300 million Muslims living in India now. So, and I know a lot of problems because, a lot of people comment on my videos and they send me direct messages saying they have a lot of problems with Muslims. And fundamentally, my problem with Islam is that Islam is a very militant religion. He says it in the Quran and he says it in the surahs and hadiths that Muslims have a responsibility to spread the word of Islam and spread the word of Allah, and they should make everyone submit to Islam because, Islam or Muslim means to submit.
Yeah.
And obviously, they come to Western countries and they try to push this agenda and narrative of Islam and how Islam is good. But Islam, look, you can have your personal opinions. I don't think Islam is a great religion. Okay, I feel like it's a very militant religion, and it's got a lot of dark sides to it. You know, Muhammad was a great warrior, but he was a warmonger. You know, he killed thousands of people and he bragged about it, you know.
Was he
and he had multiple different wives. Yes.
Was he a warrior or a bandit or a highwayman? Which way would you
I mean, all of the
recognize him?
above, because look, I have my own theories on this, because look, I studied the history of Islam and the context it came about. And Muhammad was actually a very great warrior, but he was also very ruthless. And then what happens is that he marries this woman called Khadija, and Khadija was 15 years older than him. But then Khadija was a very wealthy woman. She could speak 5 different languages, and also she wanted Muhammad not to be so barbaric. So she married him and said, "Look, you are a great leader, and you have all these people following you. But, you know, if Muhammad, because, you know, I'm a rational person, yeah? I don't believe in miracles, and I don't believe Muhammad went to a cave and God gave him the message to write the Quran, yeah? He was illiterate, he couldn't read or write. So what I think happened is that Khadija translated old scripture, because, you know, Quran is based on the Bible and the Torah. And it's just a more streamlined version. You know, Bible is this thick and, you know, Quran is this thick, right? And what I think happened is that Khadija translated all the old scripture and then added a few bits like, oh, don't drink alcohol, don't eat pork, fast 1 times, and then gave the book to Muhammad and said, okay, now take this book and spread it to your people. Okay, I don't even think Muhammad wrote the Quran himself. Okay, that's my theory on it. But you can disagree. People might disagree. But I don't believe in miracles. I don't think a person that was illiterate can write a book. Okay, so.
But
and
still,
then what happens is that, sorry?
Yeah, but still there are some things that were added to this Quran after the death of Khadija. So how would you explain that?
So I think it was just the people around him. He could have said something and then people just wrote it for him.
Okay,
you know?
so then I can add to your theory that in fact Muhammad had not seen a Quran the way that we have seen it. The Quran that we are seeing today was compiled by Umar and Abu Bakr after the death of Prophet. Maybe even after that, until the time of Usman, they might have written everything, taking the scriptures which were available from around the community over there. Maybe that's the way. Do you think? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. They say there's 4 different versions of the Quran. There's 4 different versions, and one of them survived to this day.
Okay.
And it's very possible. You know, even when Ali and Yazid had a conflict, because after Muhammad died, half the people became Shia followers of Ali, and then the other half became Sunnis followers of Yazid.
Yeah.
And they say that Shiites wrote their own Quran and Sunnis had their own Quran, you know, and they say the Quran could have been written by Yazid even or Ali. We will never know, okay? But the point remains the same, is that Muhammad was a great military leader. I give him that much credit, but then he literally wrote the Quran to make his soldiers braver. It's like, oh, when you die, you're going to go to heaven and you're going to give you 72 virgins and we're going to have, you know, because, you know, look, life was very hard back there in the Saudi Arabian desert, okay? People didn't even have water to drink. And when a guy comes over and says, okay, if you follow my lead and if you follow my rules, you're going to go to heaven and you're going to get 72 virgins and you're going to go to, everything's going to be perfect. And, you know, so, and I think fundamentally, he just wrote the Quran and started the movement of Islam to inspire his soldiers. To inspire his soldiers to go and conquer other regions of the world. That's what I think.
Okay. I have a question to you at this moment. That is something regarding, as a person, you are coming from Iran. You were born in Iran.
Yes.
That's how I know from you.
Yes.
So in that way, we all talk about Mahsa Amini and the death
Yes.
she was experiencing. So,
Yes.
could you please comment over that? How, why this government over there is doing that? Is the government in Iran really fascist? Do you think that way?
Yes, 100%. They are
Okay.
100% fascist. And
Even with
look,
Islam.
sorry.
Even with Islam.
Even with Islam, yeah, they are the one of the most evil governments in the world, I would say.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll give you a historical context. Okay, we used to have a Shah king, and he was, a very liberal. Everything was open. We used to have nightclubs, bars. Women didn't have to wear the headscarf. They could wear whatever they want. They could go to the beach. It was, Iran is a very powerful, rich country. We have the second highest oil reserve in the world and the second highest gas reserve. And what happened was during the Shah increased the price of oil from $4 a barrel to $40 a barrel. Okay, so he 10x the price of oil. And that led to Iranian economy just skyrocketing in like 10 years. Okay? So I think he doubled the GDP. He doubled the total GDP of a country in 10 years. That's a lot. That's like saying the country's, doubled in money. Okay? And what happened when he increased the price of oil is that the America and US didn't like it because it was hurting them, because the world ran on oil in the 1970s especially. And I think if you know about it, in America and in Europe, there was a fuel crisis.
Yeah.
And that was exactly to do with the price of oil.
Okay.
So what they do is, there was some, because Shah was very liberal, he had opened the country up, and that angered a lot of Islamic clerics.
Okay.
Because there was bars, there was nightclubs, as I said, they used to show like films with sex scenes on the TV, and everything was open, right? And this angered a lot of Muslim Islamic mentality people.
Okay.
And America and US, they used that sect of people, and then one of the people that was very outspoken against the Shah was Khomeini.
Okay.
And they used him, and they sponsored him, and they gave him money, and then they started a movement. So the revolution in Iran was actually done by America and UK.
Okay.
Okay? And when Khomeini got into power, after 2 weeks, he backstabbed the Americans and the UK.
Okay.
Okay? So even if you watch his speeches before the revolution in like a month before, he says, no, we don't have any problem with the West. The West is good. No, everything is going to remain open. We just want freedom for everyone. But then after 2 weeks, he changed everything. He changed his whole dialogue.
Okay.
And said, no, women have to wear the hijab. We have to have Islamic law. Death to the US, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then America realized that they've been sponsoring a terrorist. And now he's got into power, they can't remove him. And then that led to the Iran-Iraq war with Saddam Hussein, which was sponsored by the Americans. Anyway, so for 44 years now, we have a dictatorship government that has been oppressing people. People can't drink. People can't party in their own homes. You have police come in the house. Women get lashed for drinking the alcohol. Women get killed. Women, Mahsa Amini, was killed for not wearing the hijab properly.
Yeah.
Not even not wearing it properly.
Yeah. Improper hijab.
Yeah. And this is what's happening in Iran. Everyone is obsessed. And, I think 10 million people, more than 10 million Iranians immigrated from Iran to West or anywhere else. And for 44 years now, we've been living with the oppressive governments that tries to push Islamic law on people. And it's very bad. And that's why I get angry when I hear things like Sharia for UK.
Yeah,
because I escaped that country. I don't want to see it here.
I can see that on your face as well. That is so much that kind of energy over your face. And I appreciate that for that reason, because when me sitting here in this country where we don't have such an experience regarding Islam, where in India, Islam is a minority. Even though it is somewhere around, in my state, it is about 27% of Muslims in my state. Even then, it is a minority, and we always talk about the right wing that is getting emerged in this place and causing all those problems. And this is the way Islam is trying to defend itself and come up with all the atrocities it can. So we are addressing that from my part, from our country. So I can see the difference when we both together sitting here and comparing the Islam. You are coming from a majority country where Islam was the majority, almost 99%, right? And I'm from a country like...
Yes, but let me just add one point to that.
Okay.
This is the thing. They say 99%.
So how much it is?
Well,
How much it is?
yeah. So I think it's like 20, because in the last 44 years, the government has made people hate Islam.
Okay.
So I think maybe 20 or 30% are Muslim. Most Iranians that I know hate Islam. And that's not because they hate God. They just hate what happened to their country. And this government made people hate Islam. So this is another problem I have. They say, oh, there's 2 billion Muslims in the world. I think the statistics are skewed.
Okay.
Because I can speak for my own country, and I know, because when I have, most of my friends are Iranian, and almost all of my friends, they say, no, we are not Muslim. So
Okay. I need to reiterate on that, because are you saying that most of your Muslim friends, the so-called Muslim friends, are not, they are just hating Islam, or they have become ex-Muslims?
they have become ex-Muslims. Even my family members.
Really? Your family members?
Even my girlfriend, my family members, I would say my mom, my dad. I would say my uncle, even my only people that still used to pray, was my granddad and my grandma. But that's because they're old, they're old school. But the newer generation, they are not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen some of the surveys that was carried out by some that Arab Barometer. You might be knowing about that website. That organization. They have conducted a survey in the Middle East, where they have also identified that more than 60% of the Iranians, they have gone out of their belief, and they are no more Muslims now. So that's what they have come up with. So you are confirming that, right?
Exactly. For sure. Most Iranians, if you go and ask them, they say, "What do you think about Islam?" They would start swearing.
So
that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Would you say that this is happening just in the Iran, in the country Iran, or the nearby countries?
Okay, but let me give you a historical context, because Iranians are not actually Muslim. They used to have a religion, Zarathusht. Okay, so and Zarathusht is 1,000 years older than Islam.
You mean to say Zoroastrianism, right?
Zoroastrianism, yeah, Zoroastrianism. In Farsi we call it Zarathusht, but Zoroastrianism. Yeah.
We have some Farsis in our country.
Yeah. So what happened was, we used to have a king called Cyrus the King, and he used to be famous for Cyrus the Arab killer, because Arabs tried to invade Persia many times, but Cyrus the King never let them. Okay, and even Cyrus the Great never invaded Saudi Arabia, because he was like, why would I go to Saudi Arabia? It's just a desert. But the Persian Empire went all the way to Romania, and then all the way to China. So, most of Afghanistan and Tajikistan, a little bit of Pakistan, and even a little bit of Eastern India used to be Persian Empire before, Sorry, Western India.
Side,
yeah, Western side. So, and that's why you have still some Iranian people in Western India, yeah? Anyway, after Cyrus the King dies, the Arabs invade Iran with Ali, okay? And what happened was, they attack Iran, they burn libraries, they take down statues, and ancient Persia, up to this day, we still have some ancient things, and you see it's like Rome, but the Arabs destroyed 99%. Okay, so people suggest that what ancient Persia looked like, you used to look like Rome, yeah. So what happened was, Ali conquered Iran, forced people, he said, you either become Muslim or I'm going to behead you.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why there's Ali's sword has a name.
Okay.
He's the only person in history that I know his sword has a name, and his sword is called Zulfagar. Yeah, Zulfagar is the name of the sword of Ali.
Okay.
So he used to behead people. Zulfagar, yeah.
Okay.
His sword had a name. Sword had a name. Most people have a name for their horse or their pet or their dog. He had a name for his sword, which I find quite funny, to be honest.
Okay.
And so he beheaded, and then it took Persia 200 years. So the Arabs conquered Iran, for 200 years. And it took 200 years for Iranians to overthrow the Arabs.
Okay.
But Iran is the only country that kept their language after being conquered by. But there's only two countries that kept their language after being conquered by Arabs: Spain and Iran.
Okay.
So we kept our language Farsi and the Spanish, but the Spanish had a lot of help from the Romans and the French to overthrow. And it's called the Spanish Inquisition, yeah? So because Iranian culture, in my opinion, is far superior to Islamic culture or Arab culture.
Even in my opinion.
You know,
I second that.
yeah, thank you. But you know, because we are very look, I'm not a religious person, yeah?
Yeah.
I see religions as a concept. But in Zarathustra, there is an excuse every month to party and have fun and, you know, count your blessings. It's a very happy religion. A little bit like Hinduism. A lot of color, a lot of, you know, gold, these kind of things, yeah?
Okay.
So, but, you know, especially the Shia Muslims, they're just very sad people. Like in Iran, every 2 weeks we have a public mourning for Imam Ali and Imam Hussein, and then people go in the streets say, "Oh, Hussein, 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 Hussein." You know, you've seen it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And they cry, and I just find it like, why is it? Is this is so sad? Like, you think about it, it's so stupid. Why would you go to once a month, once a year for 40 days? You have to cry and say, "Oh, Hussein, Hussein."
I have a question here. Were you a Shia or a Sunni?
I was Muslim. I wouldn't say I was Sunni because, you know, my granddad is from Pakistan.
Okay.
This is one thing you have to
then
remember. So
Sunni,
my granddad, yeah. So my mom, dad is from Pakistan. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of Pakistani, but I also have a little bit of Turkish.
Okay.
But I'm mostly Iranian, so I have 3 countries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say I was Muslim. But when I was in school, they taught me Shiaism, and it was, I just find, but Shias, they believe the same as Sunnis, but they just add on top. So they believe in the Quran and the Hadiths that came through, and then they just add their own nonsense on top. So they say there is Imams, Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Reza, and then it goes all the way to Mahdi. And yeah, that's what they believe, that when in the day of, you know, judgment, Mahdi is going to come.
Yeah,
like, you know how Christians say Jesus is going to come, they're going to say Mahdi is going to come.
It is there for even Sunnis, that is Mahdi Imam. That is the name.
Yeah, and then it's funny because, you know, because they take the same story, because Jesus is supposed to come on a white horse, and then so is Mahdi. Mahdi is also going to come on a white horse. So it's just the same story over and over. You know, so back then they didn't have copyright. This guy's copying from my story.
Yeah, there's a point here. That is, we used to say that Islam is a copycat of Zoroastrianism. Even the prayers that was done by this in the Zoroastrianism, the 5 times prayer, the call for azan, and many other things, and even the travel to the 7th sky above that, to the heaven through on that winged horse, that mule. Even that is present in Zoroastrianism. Have you heard such a mythological item from Zoroastrianism?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, most of the inventions that is connected to the Islamic Golden Age came actually from ancient Persia. So they attacked because they come and conquered Iran, and they found many things, many technologies. And they say, oh, and then in history, they said this was our invention. But no, it was not your invention. It existed in Persia before, and you just copied it.
Okay.
Or you said it's ours now, so we're going to claim it as ours.
Okay. So do you have any particular incident or any story from Zoroastrianism to remember and to correlate with Islam? Any stories in Zoroastrianism? Like I have something from this Ramayana or Mahabharata, which I can narrate from this Hinduism here.
No, to be honest with you, I don't think. I think, to be honest, I think Zoroastrianism is a superior religion to Islam. Although I'm not religious, but even in Iran now, they're trying to kill our traditions. So we have something called Nowruz. You know what Nowruz is, yeah? Nowruz is our new year.
Oh, okay.
So the first day of spring is our new year, and it's usually around 20th of March, 21st of March, the first day of spring, yeah? And now they are saying, no, we shouldn't celebrate this ancient thing because it's ungodly and it doesn't do. And we also have this other thing called Shabe Yalda, and Shabe Yalda is basically the longest night
Okay.
of the year where people party, you know. And now they're saying, no, we shouldn't do this because this is satanic tradition.
It means
So the
un-Islamic.
people, no,
Un-Islamic.
no, Shabe Yalda,
No, no. Are they saying it as un-Islamic or it's not part of Islam, so that
it,
you shouldn't do that?
yeah,
Is it
it's
that way?
un-Islamic.
Okay.
Yeah. They're saying it's un-Islamic and we shouldn't celebrate it. And what they are trying to do is that they're trying to erode
Okay.
Persian culture. They're trying to replace everything with Arabian and Islamic culture.
Okay.
Okay? And this is what angers me. Because they invade the country at first, 1,400 years ago. We overthrow them. And this is their second coming. Like the regime we have now is the second coming of 1,400 years ago.
Okay.
And this regime will go, I'm sure.
Okay.
But
You're
they
hopeful.
will cause as much damage as they can during the time they're there. And what they're trying to do is to erode all Iranian tradition.
Okay. So you are hopeful
So
of
saying,
overthrowing the
and
current.
even, and I heard something recently that even in the history books in schools, they don't teach about the history of Persia.
Okay.
They just teach about the Islamic history of Persia. They don't teach about 1,000, 2,000 years before that, what happened with Kurosh and Cyrus the Great and Darius and all these people, you know?
Okay. So
So, which is sad because literally they're trying to erase history and just replace it with the Islamic history.
okay. So I'll just sum up what you have mentioned in this first part, something related to Iran. That you are an ex-Muslim, you are not religious, but still you consider your culture, the history of your country, as something that is so valuable. And that,
No. I look. The thing is, I am spiritual. Yeah, I'm a
okay.
spiritual person. And look, I give you the example of what happened. I was both religious, then I became atheist, then I became spiritual. Okay. And look, so from religious to atheist to so you swing, and then come in the middle, which is spiritual is in the middle of things. So
what is next?
No, that's it. Because look, religion. I've said this many times. All religions have some truth to them, but they are not 100% true.
Okay.
All religions. You can take the best from Islam, you can take the best from Christianity, you can take the best from Hinduism, you can take the best from Zoroastrian. And then you have to take all these values and then make your own values.
Okay.
These are just perspectives on God.
Okay, so you consider religion as a group of values.
Yeah, group of values, and they were just used to control the masses.
Okay.
And it was basically because they didn't have technology before. So religion was like law of the land in a way. You know what I mean? So, and then there was no CCTV and there was no police. So they had to scare people from God, saying, oh, God is going to punish you,
Okay.
So, and what happened, the thing is, but I believe in the spiritual state. I believe in God. But I don't see God in the same way other people see God. God is an energy and a frequency that flows through everything.
Okay.
So I have God in me, you have God in you. The fact that we have imagination, the fact that we can think, the fact that we can create this moment, the fact that we can connect, the fact that we created all these things. And we haven't stopped evolving. So we will keep evolving. In 100 years' time, we will have AI in our brain. And we will have many other things. And, humans in 100 years' time will look completely different to the humans now. So we are always evolving. So this proves the idea in Christianity that God made humans in his own image. No, he didn't, because humans in 100 years' time will look different.
Okay.
But God, and look, I tell you exactly what happened with me. I had a very deeply moving personal experience, and it was a psychedelic experience.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know what psychedelics is.
Yeah. That disclaimer works.
Yeah. And I realized that when I was in that state, I just saw geometric shapes and lights, and I couldn't really explain it. So and that is God, that because everything around us has energy and frequency and life, even though we might not see it. Our perceptions is very limited. So we only see a tiny percentage of the light spectrum. The sun is not yellow. The sun is 7-8 different colors. Yeah. But we only see it yellow.
Okay.
So even like a dog hears sounds that we can't hear. So there's so much more that we can sense. Okay. And I think science is a way of understanding God. When people say, whether you believe in science or whether you believe in God. I say, well, science is a way of understanding God. And I tell you, we don't even know 1% yet.
Hmm.
There's 99% that we don't know. And I think there's even more that we don't even know that we don't know.
Okay.
Did you understand what I just said? We don't even know that we
So
don't know. So,
you're
for
trying to
example,
so you are trying to
yeah.
know
So
more.
for yeah, no, no. So for example, how would you explain the concept of a Facebook
Hmm.
to an ant? You cannot explain the concept of Facebook to an ant. The
Okay.
same way, if someone came and tried to explain something to us, our brains haven't evolved yet to understand what they're saying.
Hmm.
So if someone comes and says to you 4 dimensions or 6 dimensions or 9 dimensions, you can't imagine. Why? Because we live in a 3 dimensional space.
Okay.
So we see everything in 3 dimensions. So if someone says comes and explains 4 dimensions or 5 dimensions or 10 dimensions, you will say, "Well, what you're talking about?" You know, we can't imagine it in our head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. I think there's so much we don't even know that we don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not commenting over that, and I'm not trying to confront over that, because that's something, or an area where we used to have certain points, and we used to debate over that, because we have some kind of understanding over there. But only thing that I just wish to tell you at this moment for that is that in the moment that you keep on learning, or you keep on understanding more and more about all these things, you will get a clearer picture. So I wish the best for you in that course of action. So now I think we can move on from Iran and Islam and
Yeah.
your that kind of history to the UK, where you are coming from, and you are sitting right now, and you are talking about this Sharia for UK, and a few words over that, and we can finish it off in next 10 or 15 minutes, if not a
Okay.
problem.
So yeah, as I said, look, there is a problem we have in society in the UK where people are scared to say anything about Islam. White people or non-Muslims are scared to speak about Islam because if they speak about Islam, people say, "Oh, you are racist, or you are Islamophobe,
Okay.
or you are something."
Mostly
And
racism.
obviously, you know, people that come,
Mostly
yeah. So,
mostly
and
racist, right?
sorry,
Mostly they name you with the racist, right?
yeah. They say you're racist or Islamophobic or whatever, right?
Okay.
And then we have other people that are Muslims, but then obviously they've been brainwashed as they were a child, as since they were a child. So they either still believe in Islam, or even if they don't really believe, or even if they don't practice, they don't have the guts to come and say something about it. Okay, so they stay in the shadows, and I think it's very powerful. Like someone like me comes and talks about these issues because A, I was a Muslim. B, I understand Islam inside and out. C, I have still some Muslim family members, so you can't call me Islamophobic. And 4, I know what I'm talking about. So when someone like that comes and criticizes Islam and has the bravery to criticize Islam, I feel like that's the reason why it went viral, because people couldn't label me with anything. You
Okay.
know, they couldn't say, "Oh, you're Islamophobic." They couldn't say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." They couldn't say, "Oh, you haven't lived in an Islamic country." And one more thing I wanted to say about this: we have a lot of Muslims in this country, okay? And I know some of them, like, I don't know if you know these people, like Muhammad Hijab.
Of
He's got like a
course.
million subscribers on, and they talk so much nonsense, and they try to pretend like Islam is a good thing for society, especially when you mix it with politics. I don't care about the personal side. You can be a Muslim and pray 5 times a day. I don't care, okay? But you can't say that Islam is a good thing for society, okay? And the reason why I'm making these videos is to challenge people like Muhammad Hijab, okay? And say, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You're selling a false idol. And I see a lot of people being manipulated. They're being manipulated because they don't know enough about Islam. So they believe someone like Muhammad Hijab,
Okay.
you know, or they believe some idiot in the street. And they say, "Oh, no, it's equality." And, you know, they're just so tolerant. "Oh, Sharia for UK is a good thing." No, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about. If you say Sharia law is good, you do not know what you're talking about. And you haven't lived in an Islamic country. Okay? And it just makes me angry because now I feel like, especially in London, there's so many Muslims, and these Muslims are I feel like some of them are a little bit too extreme. And there was a big crackdown on this. Like Anjem Chowdhury
Yeah.
a few years ago.
And
I
recently,
went
this
to
Hizbut
school with two
Tahrir.
terrorists.
Yeah, Hizbut Tahrir
Yeah.
that got proscribed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's to put on my story.
Yeah.
And I went to school with two terrorists. Yeah.
Okay, please explain
And-
that. I read that in your
Yeah,
mail,
yeah.
but I was not able to grasp it. What you meant by that? What is that?
Yeah. So basically what happened was, as I said, when I was 15, I became an atheist. And obviously I was outspoken back then as I am out now. So these people used to come up to me, and these guys were from Morocco and from Iraq, but one of them
Which
was
class?
very well connected.
Which class
Huh?
was that? Which class was that? In which class in your
No,
school?
they were in the same year as me. Same year, same classes. all
What
of
age?
them.
What age?
15, 16.
Okay, please go on.
Yeah? Yeah. So, and then they used to come up to me, and I used to have religious debates with them, but I didn't know these people are going to become terrorists. So can you imagine? Like, they tried to kill a police officer a few years later, and I got into fights with them, physical fights. I got into debates with them, very hot debates about
Okay.
Allah and Quran and Muhammad. So I'm thinking now that these people could have plotted to kill me. It's quite scary to think about it that way. And I could tell straight away they were brainwashed, but they were actually not stupid guys. They were smart guys. One of them got accepted to go to King's College, which
Okay.
is one of the best universities in London. Another one got accepted to go to UCL. I went to LSE, London School of Economics, and I studied politics and international relations. So they weren't stupid people, right? But because of misguided information and, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to swear, but like some nonsense belief, yeah?
Are
Some
they
nonsense belief.
are they still alive or have they gone blown?
No, they are in jail now. And also, I know another guy that went
Okay.
to Syria and got killed
Okay.
in a bombing by America, yeah?
So you were
And we
in
all
that.
went to the same school.
So you are coming from that kind of a league where you had some terrorist friends. I don't have any any terrorist friends.
Yeah, no, but they're not my friends, my
Okay.
friends. They were in the same class as me.
Okay, but still
They were in the
you-
same school.
Okay, but still you have
They
seen
were
them.
no, I don't have no. Thank God I don't have any friends. They were in the same school as me, and obviously I can't control who goes to my classes and who goes to my school. But what I'm saying is that these people come to this country.
Okay.
They escape their own countries, and they come to this country, and they are so dumb that they don't realize that the reason they left their countries, one of the reasons they left their countries,
Sharia.
is because of Sharia law. And they come to these countries, and they still want to be terrorists. I just don't understand it. Like, why did you come here in the first place?
Okay.
It makes me angry. And they come to this country, they take advantage of all the freedoms we have. They go and, get benefits from the state. They go on the welfare program, they get free housing and then they get all these free things that they don't have in their own countries, and they still want to become terrorists when the government in the UK helped them so much, gave them so much money, and I just for me, what's the word? The ungratefulness is
Okay.
just staggering.
Okay.
And I think that's what fundamentally religious fundamentalism and extremism can do.
Okay. Okay. So that sounds so strange and so much new to me that having these kind of people around you, like you might have even got killed by these people for debating with them and to disagreeing with them, right? So
Yeah.
you
But that's because, again, in Islam, it says that you cannot speak ill of Muhammad, you cannot speak ill of Islam, you cannot be an apostate.
Yeah.
So it says in their books that if someone is that, you have to kill them, or you have to, harm them, or, and that's why fundamentally I disagree with Islam, because I don't think Islam is a religion of peace. The proof is in the surahs and the hadiths. It's there for everyone to look, and for anyone that argues otherwise is either lying or is uninformed.
Okay. So before closing our discussion in another 2 or 5 minutes, I just wanted to get some statements from you so that I can make some shots and spread the message here, especially because you are coming from an Islamic country like Iran and doing all this. So one statement that I wish to have from you under 1 minute is something related to hijab. Is it a dress or a clothing or a religious symbol?
But I feel like the hijab is actually comes from a deep insecurity, both from men and women. Because look, it was a way to control people. So, from a male perspective, is if your wife wears the hijab, no other man is going to look at her and no other man can steal her from you. So because you're an insecure man, you want your wife to be under the hijab. But also it's the insecurity of women, because women, they compete in beauty. Okay. And if you're an ugly woman, then if every other woman is covered up, then no one is competing. You're not competing against anyone. So it all comes down to insecurity. It comes down from the insecurity of the man that wants to control his wife, and it comes down to the insecurity of the woman that doesn't want to compete with other women in beauty.
Okay, so what about, I'm just having another point over that. That is something on that angle of religion. How do you see that? What you said is not on the angle of religion, like this
Okay, the angle of
insecurity.
religion is, look, I understand the angle of religion is modesty. Be modest, dress modestly. But even in the Quran, it doesn't say cover your hair. It says cover your chest
Okay.
to women. Yeah, cover your chest, so don't have your. But look, I understand the modesty aspect. Okay, but I think fundamentally it's being used to control people, and it's usually being used by men to control women, and also it's being used by women to control other women. So I think it's all a control mechanism, and it has nothing to do with modesty.
Okay, thank you. And now the second statement that I wish to have from you is regarding the way Islam is portrayed always as a religion of peace. So whenever people, especially the believers in my country, they want Sharia to be implemented in India, even in India. Even I was a person who was dreaming about having Sharia law implemented in India. That's what I was. So what do you have to say to them regarding implementing Sharia into a country?
I think no religion should mix with politics. No religion. Okay. And the reason is that once you start legislating based on religion, you cannot make laws for everyone. Because, all right, some Muslims might like Sharia, but then what about the 80% of Hindus that are not Muslim? So how can you implement Sharia for those? Because they don't believe what you believe.
They have jizya to be paid and they can live there. Jizya, the tax, the protections tax.
Yeah. And exactly. And they have, and you cannot look, religion and politics shouldn't mix, because once religion and politics mix, it makes people hate that religion. What happened to my country?
Okay.
People might have liked Islam 45 years ago, but now they all hate Islam. Why do they hate Islam? Because Sharia law was implemented, and now people are living in oppression. So actually, it has the opposite effect.
Okay.
You feel like, oh, doing Sharia law is good, but it's not long term. It's not a good strategy.
So then I have something more to be made clear there. That is, so do you see Islam as a religion or as a political ideology?
Both. I think it's both, because Muhammad tried to. It was a political movement to begin with, but then in order to make it solid and concrete and make sure it lasts through the centuries and the millennia, he added God and he added miracles and he added all these things that he wanted his people to believe. But fundamentally, it started as a political military movement.
Okay. So, and finally, the question or the statement that I am seeking is for the politicians in our country, in my country especially, on a day where we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Republic Day. So here we have the politicians who always side with these Islamists. In a way, they are staying there to gain the votes from them. So for that, even they are upholding the laws in Sharia above the democratic and the secular values and the individual freedom, those kind of values that we have. So what is the message that you have to these politicians who upholds Sharia above democracy and secularism and other freedom values?
I think they should be a lot more brave and be able to stand up to religious extremism and fundamentalism. There is no place for Sharia law in India because majority of the people are Hindu. And as I said, religion and politics shouldn't mix. So I feel like a lot more people need to stand up and speak up. And the politicians need to be a lot stronger and a lot firmer and say, well, if you want Sharia law in India, I can send you to Pakistan. You don't need to stay here. Okay? You don't need to stay here. We're not forcing you to stay. So you can go back to, you can go to Pakistan or Bangladesh.
Solution. That's a good solution.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So you don't, if you don't agree with our laws of land, you can't change them.
But the
If you're
problem,
not happy, leave.
yeah, but
Huh?
the problem is, if you want Sharia to be implemented here, you can go to Pakistan. This is the same statement that is being mentioned by the right wing here, and for the same
Yeah.
reason, they say that the Muslims are persecuted here, but they don't understand that if you can't live in a
No, but
country,
this is okay. And I give you a very quick history lesson.
yeah,
Muslims always try to
too much
pretend
history
like they're
today. Anyway,
persecuted.
yeah,
They always pretend that they're persecuted. They're not persecuted. That this is their strategy. They go to a country, they pretend they're persecuted, they grab power, and then they try to change everything. So don't let that happen.
okay, that's a good message to all of the people in our
Yeah.
country, including Muslims, right?
Okay.
So,
Hopefully all, because look, and I want to say something quickly before we end. I had
yeah.
a lot of Indians, many Indians message me. And that's the reason why I accepted this
Okay.
thing, because I know a lot of my audience is Indian, and obviously I would like to tap into the Indian market a lot. So I've already tapped into it. So I just want to say good luck with all the nonsense that's happening in your country, and hopefully after this video you can give me a follow, and also
Sure.
subscribe to my YouTube channel and everything. I feel like all the links is down there anyway. Eunice Rocks on Instagram and Elevate 303 on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, I just wanted to ask you something regarding that video that you made as a response to that Sharia for UK. Was that your first attempt into criticizing Islam in a public platform that way?
No. I made a 10-minute video on why Islam is not religion of peace. I feel
Okay.
like you should go and watch it. It's like I made it about a month ago.
Okay.
And it's on my YouTube channel. I know it's on my Instagram. It's both on my YouTube and my Instagram. So you can go and watch it. It's about 10 minutes long, and I explain exactly what Islam says, the surah say, the hadith say, and also the life of Muhammad.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
I wish you do more videos like this, especially on YouTube and other things. And if you require any sort of collaborative videos like this, we can do in future too. No problem. Because I just want to
Okay.
make this point across. That is, Islam is not something that is for the future generations to come. It is against
Yes.
humanity. That's what we always try to say. It's not just like comparing Islam with other religions. You can't do that. Islam is not like other religions. It's something a higher degree of poisonous substances. We can classify it that way.
Exactly.
Yes. So yeah.
Exactly. Spirituality and religion is personal, and you should never mix with politics.
Yeah.
Okay? We should make policy on secularism, and we should challenge religious extremism of any kind.
So that makes our session complete here, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation and making our Republic Day so much special and wonderful, and something that is worth remembering. And homage and our wholehearted support to all the protesters in your country, especially for that anti-hijab protest that is happening over there. And Masamini, I think I have done more than 10 videos over Masamini. I don't remember the number. So that's the way we try to do all this. So we know the importance of all these things. So anyway, we are with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Keep fighting.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.